Whenever you are ready, we are ready for you.
Hopefully this works right, because this is not the same format. Stop it. Okay. Mine was basically about how the current election was basically turned into a lesser of two evils elections. Instead of the candidates talking about how they could better the country, they were basically bashing each other the entire time, which made everything difficult, and basically pinned everything as you're on this side or you're on this side, and if you're not voting Obama, then you must be incredibly against him, or if you're not voting Lani, you must be incredibly against him. But because of all of the attention they were getting from bashing each other, a lot of the stuff ended up moving on to social media sites, and then because people just generally like to voice their opinions really loudly, it escalated because they were so against the negativity and everything. But even with it being on the social media, the candidates both added fuel to that. They ended up having different areas where you could connect through applications, media sites, and everything. And the news didn't help this. They were also bashing each other because, like, Fox is Republican and everything, so they were saying a lot of bad stuff about the Democrats, and then all the ones that were more liberal or whatever were generally towards that. But even without the media bias, there was still also negativity. Like, even with this, they're like, why Obama's critics so dumb and everything, even though it's supporting Obama, it still has a negative side to it. And then the different, like, controversies over, like, the video leak where the Obama administration, even if they didn't necessarily release the leak, were using the 47% quote in different advertisements, and even then there were political cartoons as well. And then the Libya embassy attack, even though Obama had labeled it terroristic at the beginning, it was still brought up in the debate, and there were still people that weren't paying attention to what actually happened. And then there was also Romney's taxes, where he wouldn't release them at first and everything, and people automatically assumed that he was like extorting money, different things like that, because he was into big businesses and everything. And with all this negativity, we figured out how to turn images not necessarily flattering to begin with, into images that make them seem like they're looking down on the audience. They're just generally out, they're generally out to get the other candidate. This originally had audio with it, but because it's playing on the iPad, it won't play. It was the same audio from our video. But basically, they were using the negativity in any way they could instead of actually focusing on the facts. Even with the debates, Romney was trying to trap Obama with the whole Libya situation and everything. And even after that, the facts weren't paid attention to. They were focusing on where they were stumbling, where they didn't have their facts straight, and things like that, rather than paying attention to what they were actually saying. And this gave people more reason to do political cartoons, and honestly, I heard more about where people messed up than anything else rather than actual facts. But I think that if we focused more on the facts in the election and what people could do to better the country, it would help. And even then, that would be a perfect world scenario, but even then, there could at least be some kind of middle ground, some news source that perfectly evenly shows stuff on both sides, or another party that came in and was out for the common good, which Dorian and other Americans mentioned. But instead, we have a country that's basically split in you're either Republican or Democratic, and it ends up destroying the original point. You don't focus so much on how much they can help the actual country, you just focus on the major issues. And it makes me wonder how many people vote for someone because that's what their family's voting for, or that's what friends are saying, rather than actually investigating and figuring out which side they actually support and researching. Before this class, I was just dreading this as soon as I found out it was politics. I had no interest in politics, I didn't want to research it or anything else. This is actually my first blog post about it. And I was originally going to say that I was going to vote wrongly just simply because he hadn't had a chance or anything yet, and I hadn't researched. So while I do believe everyone should vote, I think that everyone should research before they vote. Otherwise, it's basically a fool's vote where they're misinformed or they're uninformed and they don't know what they're actually doing. And especially with the elections being so negative, it basically pins the two sides against each other. You with this side, you with that side, and it becomes a lesser of two evils election rather than something based on facts and their actual opinions regarding major issues.
And that's it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Sadi. Thank you. All right, folks, so do we have questions for Lani? Questions? Yes, ma'am, Sarah.
After learning like facts, I guess you could say, who did you end up voting for?
I actually ended up forgetting to register, and by the time I realized it, it was too late. But I was actually going to vote Obama because the way everything was explained from what I could find out, it seemed like his views fit with more of what I was thinking would be better for the country and everything. So I thought that would be more appropriate. Plus, he did have a plan that went along with what he was already trying to do, rather than it just completely flipping out, pretty much out of nowhere to the side.
Okay. Any other questions? So you said before, oh, sorry, Faith, go ahead.
You said you were going to vote for Obama, but you had a slide that pretty much was saying that he added to the deficit, started another war, and
That,
everything.
I know, I was looking for things that involved facts and everything, and that was one of the only images I could find that wasn't just like fast checker or anything like that. It actually just laid out what was going on, but it was also showing how, even with that, they're focusing on the negative aspects of what happened. So it still went with it, even though it was against what I was voting.
Any other folks? So Lani, you said before, though, you were thinking about Romney initially. What was your drive initially? You said you want to give him a chance, maybe? Or?
Yeah, it was more of Obama had already had 4 years and everything, and I thought that he would at least have the opportunity. I already knew that like Grover Cleveland had been elected once, and then he wasn't re-elected for the next term, but he was elected for the term after that. So I figured that worst come to worst, Obama could win after Romney's term. But after going through and everything and realized how incredibly stupid that was, again, it was with the whole fool's vote thing, because I wasn't informed about it.
Cool. All right, good point. All right, everybody. So